Hey.
Sound effects.
Yeah, I like to do sound effects in my normal everyday life. I want more people to watch Mashle, right? But then I was thinking, oh wow, I had a revelation earlier. I'm like, it is a tough time to be a Harry Potter fan.
It has been for a while now.
Like J.K. Rowling is she just went full Voldemort a few years ago, and it sucks. And I feel really bad for the people that have tattoos.
Yeah.
And the people that are literally it's almost like you got Death Eater tattoos now, and I feel bad because the thing is the Harry Potter universe is awesome.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love those movies, but it's really hard. She made it almost impossible, right?
Yeah, it becomes it hits a point where where it just becomes tough to separate the creator from the creation. And it's and however much you love the creation, at some point, when the creator gets too toxic, you just inch back, and at some point you're just this thing I love, I'm having trouble loving it because of what it's associated with.
Yeah, I honestly I want to play that Hogwarts Legacy game, but I'm just I don't know, man. It's it's so weird, right?
Yeah.
But I realize, oh my gosh, there's an opportunity here.
Right.
And that comes in the form of the super awesome anime Mashle, Magic and Muscles, right?
Which we are still assuming is Mashle, because it makes sense. Mash, his name is Mash, Muscle, but it could be Mashle.
Yeah, we're not sure. It's Mashle, so maybe it's Mashle.
But we're gonna go with Mashle because that's what we've been calling it.
And it's I love this show so much. It's in its second season right now, and I think it's funny because I think if you don't know anything about anime, right, it's kind of based like a parody of Harry Potter, right?
It very much feels like a parody of Harry Potter. I mean, it's the best way to explain it is, imagine if Harry Potter, if the world, if essentially Voldemort's people sort of had it, got it their way, and there were no more Muggles.
Yeah.
But your main character, your Harry Potter, doesn't actually have magic.
He's the only person that doesn't have magic.
And yet somehow he's so super strong that he can almost fake having magic, and he can go toe-to-toe with magic users.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess, I usually pitch it to anime fans of it's like Harry Potter meets One Punch Man, but if you don't watch anime, you wouldn't know what that means. So it's I guess, the Harry Potter universe and, the one character that doesn't have Harry Potter powers is kind of like Superman. He's got, super strength. But the show is, it's funny because by itself, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But if you love the Harry Potter world and you love the magic, so much of it is very much a parody of the Harry Potter world. Even down to, the lines on their faces is sort of like Harry Potter's scar.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, it's almost weirdly enough, the perfect time to watch that show. Because I think, if you truly love, Harry Potter and you're just it's too far apart now because of, JK... it's you should be watching Mashle.
Every single episode of Mashle was so full of joy.
Yes.
It was so fun and funny, and it and your main character, he's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But he accepts that he's dumb.
Yeah.
He's so strong, and he's confident in how strong he is.
Yeah.
And he manages to make friends without trying to make friends. He's got a female friend, he's got a redhead friend, that's always getting hurt.
Well,
just like Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. It took me a second. I was like, huh? I was like, what do you mean?
I'm just thinking of
I was like, you're just, okay. It took me a second. I was like, why is she just naming the color of people's hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, with Ron. Yeah, totally. Well, it's funny too, because I think it actually could be a really good primer anime for people who've never watched anime, because most of the world will make sense if you think about Harry Potter rules.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you get sort of the Goku archetype from his character, because like you said, he's kind of dumb. All he's interested in is food. Both Goku and Luffy are sort of the same way. Because for Mashle, it's cream puffs. He loves cream puffs. And he's working out all the time. But he inspires everybody based on his strength and goodness.
Yeah. And even the bad guys he inspires with his strength and goodness, in your typical shonen fashion.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's he's just such a likable main character. And then like the his grandpa, the guy who found him and raised him, like is just so like cares about him so much, and there's just such a sweetness in that story, and like and the people that he meets up with, like such bizarre people that he befriends, but they're the perfect group for him because they're all freaking weirdos.
I know, they're all super weird. I mean, and I think like they play so much into the comedy of the show, and I do think that like it's that kind of comedy we like that's so silly at times, and like, oh man, like in this last season, like they were all just going out and they all had like crazy outfits to go out in the real world because they're all like insane. And it's got that One Piece thing, right? Where like every friend is sort of unique and weird.
And it's got that like Teen Titans Go thing where things just get like really extreme and real weird, like out of nowhere, but then all of a sudden it's just back to like the story that they're telling. Like
waffles. Yeah, I mean, I just like, it's funny because I think the main reason that we want to talk about this was, one, we just want people to watch this show because it's so awesome.
So good.
But like, two, it's like I feel bad for Harry Potter fans, but I also like, I just want everyone to watch anime. I feel like one of my goals in life is to get as many people as possible to just try anime.
Well, I think, there's this thing, especially in America, where like the idea of cartoons for so long was cartoons are for children.
Yeah.
And the thing about anime that we talk to people a lot about is that, the reason that anime became such a big thing in Japan was because they couldn't afford to do things like Hollywood could. Yeah. And so they took every genre and they did it in an animated form. And so some of them were made for kids. Some of them were made for adults. Some of them were made for teens. Some of them were made for, the whole family.
Yeah.
But it was a very different thing, animation in Japan versus animation in America, where like, America, it's like, no, this is a cartoon for your child. And Japan is like, this is an animated feature or an animated television show for you, the adult, or, there are so many that are not appropriate for kids, and I'm not even talking about henchma,
of course.
I'm talking
like Death Note. Well, it's pretty dark.
Or like, I mean,
Berserk. Well, Berserk's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but even the violence of some of the Miyazaki films are like, it's like.
Well, even it was funny. It was the best thing ever. But I was listening to NPR, which is, I know, super weird, but this older reviewer talking about Demon Slayer in the new movie, and I was like. And he was like, it might be a little violent for kids. They're just hacking, like, creatures up all the time. And I was like, Demon Slayer is, like, really violent. But I don't think I think about it because I'm an adult and it just is like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, some anime is super crazy violent.
But the point is that, there are anime in every genre. There are ones that are pure romance. There are ones that are, pure action and violence. And there are ones that are fantasy. There are ones that are, They
it's
range,
a medium.
Yeah,
it's not like a genre.
It's not a genre. Exactly.
Totally.
And I think a lot of people have trouble seeing that, depending on, where you come from because of how, how you grew up seeing animation and what it was. And I think like, if you can get over, the idea that animation is for kids.
Yeah.
Then like.
Well, let's think about like the tentpole anime things, right? Like I think the two biggest anime influences for normal people are Pokemon and Dragon Ball. Yeah. And then I think after those, it's like currently Attack on Titan. I think those are the ones that like, and listen, people love all kinds of different anime. People love Bleach. People love Naruto. But I'm thinking of the stuff that like somebody in Arkansas who works in a factory and has no interest in anime might have heard of because of like their kids or something else.
Well, there's a reason that like there was just such an outpouring of sadness and love when Akira Toriyama passed. Their Dragon Ball is such a big thing, but also, when we talk about Naruto, when we talk about One Piece, when we talk about Bleach, those are, they sit on the shoulders of Dragon Ball. It is because of the tentpole of Dragon Ball that those are what they are.
And I think I think Attack on Titan did a lot, but I also think these movies do a lot too, right? Like I think that I think there might be people that watch the Demon Slayer movies that don't actually watch the show. Well, they just see the movies.
So they're the way that they do the movies is so interesting because it's like the end of one season, beginning of the next. Yeah. It's not like an original movie, which is kind of cool because, like, you know, so many of the movies for like Naruto and things like that, it's like, does this even fit in the timeline? You know, like, aside from the last, you know,
that was like the only one that really did.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's like, is this like I know how is this canon?
It's just it never is. It's just filler. And the Dragon Ball movies are that way too, except for Battle of Gods.
Yeah.
So I think, anyway, I want to get back to Mashle real quick. I think one of my favorite things about Mashle is because he has super strength, but he doesn't have magic. He can make it look like he has magic using his super, and by super strength, it's like Superman level, like picking up ripping walls out
or even in one of the very first episodes, like, you know, when they're all flying on their broom,
they're playing Quidditch basically,
and he's able to fly on his broom, but it's because he's kicking so hard that
he's levitating. Yeah, it's so good. And like, and that's the thing I love about the show is they find really funny ways to like incorporate, you know, the sort of parody of Harry Potter, but also like he needs to keep up this like disguise because like you're not allowed, like they kill people in this world that are not magical. And I also think it's really interesting too to see a Harry Potter world that is like scary for normal people. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not sort of this kind of like, you know, I feel like the Harry Potter world in general is sort of like it's meant to be like good wizards, but then there's this bad wizard element that's trying to, you know, mess it up for everybody else. But in this, it's, you know, you had brought up before, but it really is as if like hundreds of years after like Voldemort won.
Yeah.
And like there are no more humans left. It's all just magic people. And I find it really fascinating because in the end, it also kind of becomes this interesting thing about, you know, the right to exist. Which I also think, like, weirdly also sort of, like, you know, I think the people that are Harry Potter fans will appreciate, you know, given a lot of the stuff going on.
And it's also, you know, it's the thing of, like, you know, finding the value in yourself. You know, if you want to think of it on, like, you know, on that kind of level, it's like, you know, you might not have the same abilities, the same skills as other people, but what abilities do you have that, like, that are as good or better than theirs, that can compete against theirs, that are the best things that you can do. And Mashle, despite not having magic, has like over and over again been able to compete against these insane magic users. But you know, with no issue.
No, totally. And it's just so funny.
That being said, I still feel like there's some magic in that boy. I mean, he did all the right things making that potion, and it became a cream puff. Well, he has cream puff magic.
The best is like when he'll like about to punch a bad guy and he'll be like tricep magic.
Oh my god,
like,
yes.
And so people are like, oh, he must be able to use magic, and it's like he's just making stuff up.
And then like, my favorite thing is that like the people that will call it out and be like, is he like,
I don't think that's actually magic.
Yeah. Is he just still pretending that hitting that person is magic?
I'm also just like a big fan of any shonen like that is like good natured, you know, like it's you know, we're rewatching Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 right now, and it's like that's a really dark anime.
It is.
But there are times when it becomes like really joyful and cute.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of those trademarks of shonen is they do have those. I mean, One Piece has them all the time. Naruto would have them too, and Mashle definitely has a ton of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just hope that people give it a try, and I think honestly, like, if you're a Harry Potter fan and you want your fix, you should check it out, and especially if you don't watch anime, because like, now I think the only downside is I think it might only be on Crunchyroll, which I think is, you know, which obviously
is there a free version of Crunchyroll? I feel like
there might be
a like commercial,
like an ad version. Yeah. I'm sure. I don't know.
It's worth it though. It's worth sitting through commercials to watch it.
We've had a subscription to Crunchyroll for so many years. I wouldn't know that information, but yeah, I think I hope so. But anyway, people should check it out.
Hey. Bamboo stick magic.
Oh, probably. Exactly. You whack me in the head. Exactly. It's magic. Oh, man. Second season when he gets his wand. I'm not going to give it away, but so excited. But yeah, anything else you want to say?
God, Mashle's so good.
Good.
It makes me every episode makes me so happy.
I know, me too.
And that, oh God, how, like, every free moment I have, I'm dancing to that song.
It's the best.
The season 2 opening song is so unbelievably good.
Yeah.
And oh my God, and the animation for it.
It's so good.
They created this great animation that, like, it tells a whole little story.
Yep.
Oh my God. Poor Mashle, he has a nightmare. It's a nightmare that there was a falling cream puff and he wasn't fast enough to catch it. Gotta work harder. Gotta get faster. Can't let that cream puff fall.
I think maybe you're reading a little more into it than.
No, it goes like totally.
I know the cream puff falls, but I don't know if it motivated him to work harder.
I mean,
I think he may have put that in.
He was a nightmare. He woke up from that horrible nightmare.
Well, I also so good. There's a proud tradition of like great anime opens with like great music and great animation. But I think one of the big bummers sometimes of an open of an anime is like they'll give too much away. Like One Piece does this a lot, where like all of a sudden you'll see like moments of like the big fights of that season, and you're sort of like, I want this to happen organically with the show. I don't want to see it in the open title.
Yeah.
But what I like about the season 2 open of Mashle is it's conceptual and it's doing its own thing. And so it shows some of the villains.
It shows some of the villains.
It doesn't show the fights.
Exactly. Yeah. So it has a few little indications of like, of things like, oh, is he gonna have to fight something like that? But like at the same time, once again, it's like it starts off with him dropping a cream puff. So.
It does that thing that certain like Naruto opens would do, where it's like they spend most of the time with like like someone in profile here, someone profile here, and they're like moving like this, or like they're like there's doing like 360s, but or like the Death Note open. You don't know what's happening in that show. There's like people running down hallways, and there's like people like doing this, like with like apples in their hands,
hardcore music.
Yeah, and you're just like, I don't know. This show just looks like Hot Topic, the show. Yeah. Like I don't know what this is, and I love those opens because those opens are always better than just like it's a clip show of all the stuff you're about to see.
The thing is, I think the greatest openings are the ones that give you the like emotional feel of the show without giving away anything of what you're gonna see. Yeah, it's like, and I think those Death Note ones, like that the sort of emotional impact of those is sort of how deep and like crazy Death Note is. I think this Mashle opening is how like wacky and fun and like the friendship and the friendship and fighting and like it's so perfect. Everything about the opening is perfect.
It's so good. And I think I don't know, I'm trying to think now. I'm thinking of like all my favorite opens for anime. I guess we can do that in another conversation because there are so many really, really good ones.
Yeah.
Like, Attack on Titan was so good. Like, what was really great was Soul Eater. Soul Eater had a great open animation and a great song.
Yeah.
I loved that. The first season 1. I don't think season 2, it kind of lost the plot a little bit. Anyway, cool. Well, hopefully we inspired somebody to watch
Mashle.
To watch it. All right.
Bamboo stick magic. Watch Mashle.